So today I'm going to talk about drawing feet, specifically dragon feet, and I'm going to base them off of, in this case, big cats, but we might also toy around with dogs as well. Animal feet are interesting. Humans and animals actually have a very similar structure. So if I were to just make some lines here to show what I mean, you have the, oops, wrong pencil. It's been known to happen. So if I have your shin bones coming down, there's two of them, carpal, big old heel bone, and then the toe bones are over here. That's the basic shape of the foot. The heel bone is a very big piece. On a cat foot, their shin bone, which there's two, come down, and you've got the heel. So this is the heel, this is the heel. So I'm going to put an H there. So what a lot of people confuse for another joint, it's actually the heel. And then they have their toe bones that come down here, and their fingernails, well, what we would call fingernails, that's the claw. So what a lot of people think is an elbow, or not an elbow, but a backwards knee, it's not. Their knee is all the way up there close to the hip, what we might think is the hip area, and we're actually looking at that. So when you're drawing a dragon or a dragon foot, you have to basically remember you need to have space for that big old chunk of ankle bone, because they use that, and then the toe digits are the same, and it's the same that you and I have. There's going to be the big one, slightly smaller one, the littlest one, and then whatever nail or claw you're going to have grows out of there. And then you'll have the bigger box area. This would be what we would consider the heel. It's back over here. Then there's these bones that come back there like that. And the general idea, however you're going to draw your dragons, you'd have the foot constructed somewhat like that. That's where the leg attaches back there. But this is the general idea. Not always the best idea, or not it is a good idea, but yeah, a little babbly because I'm talking and drawing at the same time. I'm going to make myself a new layer here. There we go. So if I were going to draw a dragon foot, and if I were going to base them on a cat foot, then I basically have to follow the same rule of thumb for both. Some animals, like bears, just for the record, their front feet and back feet are different. Cats and dogs and members of those families, so big cats, wolves, what have you, their feet are similar. The back feet might be a little bigger, but the paw prints are similar in shape. If you look at a bear foot, you've got this little paw, what looks like a little paw up front, and then a much bigger paw in the back. Like, it looks more humanish. It's got a heel section, where the other one looks more like these, where you have that shape. And then the toes. Cats have a little bit more of a point, but again, it depends on species that you're looking at, but that's the idea. So if I'm going to draw a dragon foot now, I've got my stuff coming down here, and there's that heel bone, don't forget it. Come down. Now this would depend entirely also on what sort of dragon you're drawing as well. Like, let's say I'm drawing one that has very big claws. And I do tend to draw feet very rough, and just for fun, I'm going to add a spike back here. You could also add something that's called a dew claw. On animals, it's what we would consider like our thumb or our big toe, depending on which foot you're looking at. They don't generally have that. If you look at a dog print, you've got the center area, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Cats, the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bears, no. Bears have all 5. But they still have that 5th digit. It's just typically in the what they call the dew claw, and it's way up higher on the foot. and it usually is somewhere in the ankle region. A lot of dog owners will have theirs, if it's in the best interest of the dog, removed when they're puppies because they're very fragile and they tend to get torn and ripped up. But not all. Not all species need that. Some do, or species, breeds, there you go. Some do, some don't. Depends entirely on the dog and the owner. So I've drawn a really rough and a more cartoony dragon foot here, but it's the general idea. This is where the heel bone is. It comes down, and then the toe bones are right there. So if you think as someone who's always like a runner who's always running on their tiptoes and base it on that shape, you'll be pretty correct. Let's try a different style now. If I were going to go for... It's weird without having the whole dragon there, that's for sure. If I was going to go for something a bit more realistic, let's see, have that part, the toe area is smaller. And your back and front feet do not necessarily have to match, but I would recommend that your back feet, like most animals, they do tend to be bigger for the reason that when they're running, the back feet are providing all the traction. In most animals, the back legs are the ones that do all the launching. They get the animal moving forward. Whereas the front legs are for steering, or if your animal is a predatory animal, they are used for hunting. So that's where we're at there. So again, it comes down. Now if I were to draw a foot from the front, the leg bones tend to be thin until they get to about this point, and it will flare out. So that's, if I can draw an arrow. Oh, there's a jet flying around outside. My apologies. And I'm just going to draw a line for where I want the ground to be underneath. Maybe this claw angles out. The trick to making it look like it's coming at you is to make the back of the toe area narrower than the other. So you can draw really quickly there. And this is not the best front view I've ever done, but this is just for example. I think having that foot right here is messing me up. You can get the same structure in there. It's, let's see, this one actually has a little, I gave this one a little dew claw that comes off the side. Sometimes it's fun if you're going for, and again, this is based on, I want to do one the other way so people don't think I can only draw one direction. Really rough little foot here. Now let's give this one, maybe it has very curved up toes. Could happen. Joint, joint. Big old claw here. And get rid of this line that's confusing us. Alright, so this dragon is definitely got more going on. I think this one needs a little heel spike. Why not? Why not? Ever watched the Disney show Gargoyles? Man alive, they did that. Anyways, so I've got my claw here. Typically, depending on your species, you'll see more than one toe. You won't see all four, but you might see two, maybe three, if the foot is angled a little to the side. So don't draw just one in profile and think, yeah, that's it. The two middle, if you're looking at a cat with their paw prints, the ones, these ones come out further. So if I were looking at it from the side, I would definitely see, if I was looking at it from this angle, I would definitely see two toes. I would see this one and then this one behind it. So don't think you can only draw just one. That's not how that works. Not one little bit. If I wanted to add a little bit more realism to this, this is when you can start to get fancy with scales and details. Maybe this dragon, to get some traction, He's got larger scales on the pads of his feet, and then the ones on other areas are smaller, which would make sense. You need the traction down here for hunting. You've got the big old claws coming out there. There we go. And by the way, there's no rule that says the dragon has to only be scaly, but you can make do with quite a bit. There we go. This is in no way including large reptile feet, for example, tortoises or alligators, anything like that. These feet are based, again, on big cats and large dogs. We'll say wolves as well, because technically they're in there. So this is a dragon foot that's based off of that. If I was doing a reptile-based leg and foot area, it would be a very different shape. Those animals are built differently. Now, again, I'm assuming that the dragon I'm drawing can run around on the ground and moves pretty quickly. If you were to alter this to make it work for a bird, like say an ostrich, it would be pretty similar. They actually follow a very similar rule. So if you're going for something that looks a little bit more like a dinosaur foot, you'd be in the right neighborhood. If you're looking at, say, something more like an alligator, Komodo dragon, they have a different foot shape. Theirs are more flat with claws. They don't have the whole arch thing going on here. But that is a example for another day. So there you go. How to draw a quick and easy dragon foot. And just to review, remember, they have this big old heel bone right here, and the leg bones are coming off of it just like that. And you have your toe bones in there. Now, this case, I only have 2. I really should have 3, but sometimes you can get away with that a little bit. But, yep, so that is a dragon foot. How to draw them, just a really quick basic going off of real animal anatomy. And I hope that helps you out. If you have any questions, find a way to let me know. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook page. Drop me a note. Let me know what you would like to see next. Happy drawing!